Hello everyone, this is the one, the only, you guessed it right, Team Rai with episode 9. I have another special guest.
It's not PJ Entertainment, I'm just.
Okay, welcome to my show, I really appreciate it. Okay, first thing I want to discuss about TNA. Now, I don't know if you heard just about Kurt Angle. I guess he messed up what he did to train about the Olympics. You heard about that?
No, I didn't hear about that. What's going on with Kurt Angle?
Well, they say, I'm reading it online, it says Kurt Angle told TMZ this morning that the trainers for the Olympics may be in jeopardy due to the injury that he suffered this morning.
I think Kurt Angle is a little bit too old to go back to the Olympics. Like, he had his glory in '96 when he won the gold medal. I don't think if he competed, I don't even think he would do that great.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't know why he wants to do that. That's so dumb, but he's getting older. I don't know how old is he. Do you know, Just?
I don't know. I think he's probably in his late 40s, maybe.
Now, speaking of Kurt Angle, do you think there's a possibility he'd come back to WWE just be in the Hall of Fame and that's it?
I think he'll be in the Hall of Fame one day, but I think that he's got to clean up his act before the WWE brings him in, because he has a lot of drug and alcohol problems right now.
Oh, does he? How high? Pretty high?
I know that, like, he's had a couple of DUIs, and he just really looks like he's on drugs half the time. I don't think he would pass half of the drug policy plans.
Is that why he went to TNA? Because they don't have no rules, or what?
I think he went there, one, because it was an opportunity for him to wrestle stars that he hadn't wrestled before, and two, I think he was starting off with painkillers when he was there.
Oh.
And I think he knew that the WWE was going to have that drug policy put into effect, so I think that it was his only opportunity to still wrestle.
Okay. Now, before he left, it didn't matter about the drug policy in WWE, right? It wasn't affected, right?
He left right after, I think, either right before or right after Chris Benoit's thing happened, and I think that that's when they started to enforce the drug policy plan. But I think that for sure, if he had been there when the policy had gone into effect, that he probably would have got strikes just based on the condition that he was in at that time.
What year did he leave? Did he leave in 04? And not 04, or 05, or 07? I forget what year he left, Kurt Angle.
He left, I think, right around the same time that Chris Benoit's
death
incident happened, because he was in ECW at the time.
Yeah. I think Kurt Angle is a hell of a performer. Now, if he does come back, be in Hall of Fame, you know what they should do? They should make a great documentary of his WWE career, you know?
I think they should make a documentary. They did one in TNA of his career, but they totally neglected all his WWE attributes. I think that if the WWE was to bring in one, it's kind of hard because they have what he's done in WWE, but then they also have, they need to include TNA somehow, because he's done a lot in TNA based on his success as well. So I'm not sure if they're waiting to see what happens with TNA and then release it after, or what's going to happen there.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard, I guess TNA's in Money Problems. You heard about that lately?
I think that TNA's been in money problems for a while. I just think that they haven't released it to the general public.
Oh.
I think in general TNA, if you even look at just based on the situation with the Hall of Fame, with the Four Horsemen going in, WWE actually did the vignettes for the Four Horsemen being inducted, and they had Ric Flair in it. They didn't bother to ask TNA for permission, considering he's one of their top stars. Like, I think WWE really doesn't even care about TNA. I think TNA doesn't have the money to actually even come close to WWE. I think that TNA is pretty much, they're making money off of whatever advertisements they have. I think that it's going to get to the point where Spike's just going to drop them off their television, and once they're off TV, I don't see TNA being around for much longer.
So it's just like what happened to ECW, right? Before WWE bought them out, correct?
Yeah, it's going to be a similar situation, I think. The only thing is ECW was actually good before WWE bought them out. TNA has gone downhill quite a bit over the last couple of years.
Now, when WWE bought out ECW, it was good in the beginning, then it just went down, 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 and just, just no longer a good product, you know what I'm saying?
The thing with ECW is that they were actually doing a lot of stuff that WWE wasn't doing. That's the difference between, I find, TNA and ECW. ECW was, well, it was Extreme Wrestling, and WWE was, of course, in the late Attitude Era to mid Attitude Era, then when they bought them out. So I think that right now, even if WWE was considering, which I doubt they are, to buy out TNA, there's nothing they'll really get out of it aside from maybe some of the rights for some of their old videos. I don't see them picking up many stars from TNA.
Maybe just get Stinger, but we all know that Stinger will never ever come to WWE because he made a YouTube video a while back that I will never come to WWE because the way they ruin careers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't see Sting ever coming. I see Vince trying to convince Sting to go into the Hall of Fame just based on him owning all the rights to his old WCW and NWA videos. But at the same time, I think the only way they would get some of the younger stars to come in is if they actually created a cruiserweight division. Then they could bring in the stars like Alex Shelley and AJ Styles and people like that haven't wrestled in, or wrestled briefly in dark matches, or just briefly on SmackDown for a little bit. I think that's what the WWE needs to consider if they're going to actually pick up TNA. TNA has just become sort of like a retirement sort of home for ex-WWE wrestlers to get released that they don't want anymore.
Same thing what happened to WCW back in the day. Same darn thing,
Yeah, it's the way I look at TNA is it's sort of like reliving WCW around 2000.
Yeah.
Where it was pretty much just run by old stars. Like if you look at it back then, Jeff Jarrett was the main star, and Jeff Jarrett's probably one of the biggest stars in TNA history. And it's the same pattern over and over again, so...
Oh, yeah. Let me ask you a question. Let's switch gears about WrestleMania. What's your greatest moments or matches of WrestleMania? Any of them, I don't care. You can pick 5 of them. Go, take a guess.
The best matches I found were... Well, there's me being older, too. I like a lot of the older WrestleMania matches. I liked Macho Man versus Hogan. Ultimate Warrior versus Hogan. What else? Even Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Macho Man, of course, that's a classic. What else? Even Macho Man versus Ric Flair at WrestleMania 8, that was a good match.
Oh yeah, awesome.
The Bret Hart Shawn Michaels match was an excellent match. Newer matches, I would say, Batista versus Triple H, I found was good from 21, I think it was. The Undertaker had a couple of good matches. I find that The Undertaker's best WrestleMania matches have been probably in the last 4 years. All the other matches he's had for his streak were all against people that really didn't have a significant storyline with him.
Oh, like Jake the Snake, you talking about,
yeah, like Jake the Snake, King Kong Bundy,
yep.
Jimmy Superfly Snuka, the Big Boss Man, just people like that. They didn't have...
Yeah.
They weren't they were spectacular matches.
They're like jobbers, right?
Well, it wasn't like a jobber match because the stars were big enough that they should have put on better matches. It's just, I think it's because The Undertaker only wrestles about once a year now, so
yeah.
He's not getting the wear and tear of the actual business anymore. Where back then, he was still considered probably one of the key persons in the company, but they were putting him in jobber matches against people that he was just beating way too easy.
Yeah, oh yeah. Now, I mentioned this in my show a couple of days ago, that the last few years when he faced Jake the Snake and Snuka, it was easy wins, and the last couple of years when he faced Orton, Triple H, overall it'd be 3 times, and, it's a lot better the second half of his career, the undefeated streak,
Yeah, I find that The Undertaker, just against people like Orton, of course that storyline with Orton was amazing too.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Being the legend killer at the time, and him wanting to take The Undertaker's streak away because that was such a significant part of The Undertaker being a legend. But even him trying to beat the likes of Shawn Michaels and Triple H. The Undertaker, both of those individuals are, well, Triple H is a potential Hall of Famer, and Shawn Michaels is a Hall of Famer. You know, for the Undertaker to beat them so many times, I think that it kind of, if anything, it weakens the star power of those stars because it's showing that the Undertaker's above them, you know, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree with my man. Now, let's switch gears a little bit. Do you have a favorite wrestler in the Attitude Era overall besides the big superstars?
I think the Attitude Era, just in general, I was a big fan of, like, DX back then. I even liked Brian Pillman because the segments he did with Stone Cold during the Attitude Era were so controversial. If you look at the segment awesome. Where Brian Pillman and Stone Cold were in Brian Pillman's house with the gun.
Speaking of that, I don't know if...
a lot of controversy.
Sorry to cut you off. I don't know if you heard, but I guess USA thought it was a real gun. You heard about that a while back?
Yeah, I heard that when it actually happened, the USA thought it was a real gun, and they were actually going to take WWF at the time, Raw, off of the air because they thought it was an actual situation that was going on. And I think that also during that segment, there was cops called to the actual house of Brian Pillman because people thought that like that incident was actually happening.
Oh, I thought it was all staged in the back, outside.
No, as far as I know, I think it was actually filmed at a house, and I think that there was actually people that were calling the cops. I know there was instances in WCW where that happened too during the Attitude Era with certain segments with the NWO.
Yeah.
That where it was filmed and the crowd's reaction, they thought it was real, so they actually called the cops based on the situation that was going on.
I mean, that was a great segment with Brian Pillman. Now, is he in the Hall of Fame yet?
Brian Pillman's not in the Hall of Fame. I think that, once again, Brian Pillman's one of those people that I think that in order for him to go into the Hall of Fame, the WWE has to go to a PG-13 level because of how Brian Pillman died. He died of a drug overdose, and I find right now, of course, with the WWE pushing their drug policy like they've been doing over the last couple of years, I think it's hard for them to actually induct people that have drug or alcohol problems or have had them in the past. So, I think that's also why maybe Jake the Snake's not in the Hall of Fame. You know, even Scott Hall, I think he's a key person right now, even based on the documentary that just came out last year on him, where it was talking about his life. I think that, if anything, he should be in the Hall of Fame within the next couple of years because what he's going through, you never know what's going to happen to him. So.
Yeah, by the way, how's he doing? Is he going to make it?
I don't know how he's... based on the documentary I saw, they were saying that he's taking like 40 medications a day just to get by.
Damn.
I don't know how if his life's actually got any better, but...
Now, can you imagine Kevin Nash in the Hall of Fame? I say yes, definitely.
Sorry, who was that?
I said Kevin Nash will be in the Hall of Fame eventually. Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash will definitely be in the Hall of Fame. I think that what they need to do is they need to induct Scott Hall before anything bad happens to him. But I think what they might do is they just might induct the Kevin Nash and Scott Hall together as the outsiders.
I was just going to say that.
That way, when they induct them, it's not Scott Hall just going on a huge tangent talking about by himself.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash will actually be there to, you know, be by his side, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, Jess, do you play any video games or not really?
I have WWE 12, but I haven't really played it that much.
Not me neither. It's a good game. Now, I don't know if you heard reports. They are making WWE 13. Now, guess who's in it? Billy and Bart Gunn, the New Age Outlaws.
I think the New Age Outlaws, if they were to come back to WWE, I think they could actually help the tag team division. They were amazing wrestlers back in the day. I remember before they even joined DX, when they were having the feud with Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie, the whole dumpster incident. Those two deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. They are probably one of the best tag teams WWE's ever brought out. If they're going to put them in the video game, I think, like I said, they could help the tag team division. The tag team division certainly needs something to happen to it because it doesn't barely exist at all anymore.
Yeah, and it has been confirmed they are going to be in a video game, man. It has been confirmed.
Oh, I'm just saying for them to actually come back to the actual WWE.
Yeah, but aren't they too old to help the young talent, or not really?
I think if they came back for maybe a couple pay-per-views, even to just push the young talent over, maybe reestablish the tag team division a bit. If you look at it, I think Billy Gunn and Road Dogg, they're no older than Triple H or Undertaker, so I don't see how they would have a problem actually wrestling the younger stars.
Yeah, true. Last time we saw Road Dogg, he was at the Rumble, right? At the beginning of the year?
Yeah, he was at the Rumble and he got a huge pop, so
yeah.
I'm thinking that the WWE is going to do something with them eventually. I think, like I said, I think they need to bring back one or two significant tag teams that they're actually going to bring in or keep the tag team division there. Right now, it's so stalemate. There's not, like, the tag teams they have are just tag teams they're throwing together. They're not even using tag teams properly like they did back in the day, so.
Oh, yeah. Have you met any Divas or any former superstars on WWE roster or TNA roster right now?
I've met Santino Marella,
oh, wow.
and I've met a bunch of indie wrestlers. I met Christopher Daniels. Well, he's in TNA, I guess. Who else? Not a lot of them that are really significant in WWE. Like I said, I met ROH ones. I met Colt Cabana a couple times. I met Homicide.
Oh, cool. Now, what's your thoughts on Jonathan Coachman jumping ESPN? I know this is old news, but I want to mention this real quick. How your thoughts on that?
I think Jonathan Coachman was an excellent personality in WWE. I think that he's better than both Teddy Long and John Laurinaitis. He was good at interviewing. He started off as an interviewer backstage, like most of them do, but he also had the comedic as well as the intelligence to actually put out great product on television. And I think that it was really displayed in the wrestling vignettes and interviews and segments he did with Eric Bischoff when Eric Bischoff was GM.
Oh, yeah. Now, have you been watching ESPN when he's on, or not really?
No, I haven't seen any of his ESPN stuff.
He does a good job. No doubt. Now, the other guy, who's the other guy left WWE as announcer?
There's been quite a few that left. I forget who else jumped ship to become
on ESPN. On ESPN, I forget what's his darn name off from the top. Oh yeah, is it not Jonathan Coachman? I just mentioned him. Oh, Todd Grisham, right? Todd.
Oh, Todd Grisham.
Yeah, I guess he was not good. He doesn't have a big push in WWE, did he? As announcer, is he? Was he?
Todd Grisham was he was a backstage announcer for a couple of years, but he was one of I think he was like their secondary announcer.
Yeah.
He was sort of like the Sean Mooney of.
Oh my God! Yeah.
The Attitude Era.
Now, speaking of him, I heard he might come back. Was that just a rumor back in the day?
I think Sean Mooney will probably be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I think he had enough push as an announcer, as a backstage announcer, that he could be in the Hall of Fame. I think that for him to come back and maybe do a couple interviews at like WrestleMania, you know how they do those vignettes usually where they have like Santino or someone have all the old Hall of Famers or legends pop up. I could definitely see Sean Mooney pulling out something like that. So.
Yeah. What's your favorite match on Raw currently, or from the early '90s? You know, I'm not talking about the Attitude Era, but talking about early '90s or now.
Now I think that the matches are really watered down on Raw. If you look at the quality of matches now compared to how they were, even in the early '90s when the WWE product was more comedic and PG, the matches back then were actually matches that went the full distance. There weren't a lot of DQs or countouts or any other crap like that. It was just solid matches that, like I said, would go the distance. I'm trying to think of in early '90s. There were so many great matches back then. There was just, of course, they had tons of superstars like Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, The Undertaker,
The Rock.
The Rock, but even like earlier than that, when Lex Luger was there, Lex Luger as the Narcissist, or even with the Lex Express, even some of the tag team matches. Say another great tag team match from an early Monday Night Raw was British Bulldog and Owen Hart versus Yokozuna and Vader, when Yokozuna actually finally talked and was going up against Cornette, who was tag team, was the manager of Owen Hart and British Bulldog at the time. I found that was an amazing, storyline and match build up there. So.
Yep. Now let's switch gears to currently WrestleMania 28. I cannot believe 28 years in the making. Now let's switch gears real quick about what do you think WrestleMania 30 will be in the future, or 31, real quick.
I think for 30, a lot of people are saying it's going to be in New York City, just based on 10 and 20 being in New York City. But the weird thing about that is they've announced 29 to be in New Jersey, so that's why it's kind of confusing whether or not they're actually going to do it at Madison Square Gardens, because in the actual poster that they presented, it says New York and then it says New Jersey.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting, definitely, to see whether or not they go back to Madison Square Gardens for WrestleMania 30. And plus, if you look at all the places they've been doing recently, they're 70,000 to 80,000 people.
Yeah.
Madison Square Gardens definitely doesn't hold that many people, and the WWE wants to make money and to sell tickets and to make money off of their crowd. For them to go to a place that can only carry like 30,000 people for WrestleMania, I'm not sure they're going to do it. I think it's going to disappoint a bunch of fans, being that it's not in Madison Square Gardens. As for 31, I would love for them to do, another like stadium show. I don't see it. It might come back to Chicago, or Toronto was in the talks for even 29, but I doubt they'll come back to Toronto. If they were planning to come back to Toronto, I think they would have waited to put Edge in the Hall of Fame, because I wouldn't see them putting Edge and Trish Stratus in the same year. I don't know. Even I've talked to other people about this as well. SummerSlam, when it was held in Wembley Stadium in the UK, had one of the biggest draws ever for a pay-per-view and for an event. If they could somehow make it so they could hold a WrestleMania there and still attract the buy rates of the pay-per-view, I think that would be even something different for them to mix it up a bit.
Oh yeah. Now a lot of people think, speaking about WrestleMania 30, because every 10 years, right, 1, 10, and 20, and now they're assuming 30, so they might have a big spin around and surprise. They might shock the world, and it might say LA or Florida or Chicago, you know what I'm saying, 30?
Yeah, well, like, even if they did it in a place where they've never done it before, or
Vegas,
location, like, they've never done it, say they were to do it in New York City, somewhere else.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have to do it at Madison Square Gardens. A lot of people are saying that it's tradition for them to go there.
They don't have to
if
go
they
there.
could find another place that they could set up enough stands that they can draw a larger audience, I'm pretty sure they could, they would do it there. If you look at even Toronto, before WrestleMania 6 or the match with Hogan and The Rock, they had an outdoor show at Exhibition Stadium that no longer exists, and it had almost 80,000 fans at this Exhibition Stadium. So there's ways that they can do it.
Oh yeah.
So, it depends on whether they want a large crowd or they want to keep tradition.
I think they should just go with a different rule. I know a lot of people don't like it once this video's up, but everyone has their own opinion. Now, quick thoughts before I let you go. What's your thoughts on Sheldon Benjamin? He was a great athlete in WWE. Now, I heard reports that he had a chance to become WWE champion and he don't want that responsibility. Is that true, or is that just a rumor back in the day?
I think that Sheldon Benjamin had all the attributes to be champion. I think also Sheldon Benjamin should have won Money in the Bank at least once, because Sheldon Benjamin was the main person that everyone every year watched to see what he would do at Money in the Bank.
Oh yeah, now the guy with his partner, what's his name? Charlie Haas.
Charlie Haas.
He's like a Marty, from the Rockers, like
Marty Jannetty.
Yeah, he's like a Marty, because he was not really that great. And when the Rockers broke up, Shawn Michaels went this way and Marty went the other way, you know? So it all depends. They always do that every tag team. And I really like to see the tag team back in WWE in the near future, but we all know that's not going to happen, you know? Hopefully.
Well, like Sheldon Benjamin, even if he was to come back now, I think he would have a huge play. I think that he could for sure be a champion now, even based on, you know, the moves that he does in the ring. I think that what happened was, once Sheldon Benjamin left, they tried to replace him with Kofi Kingston because Kofi Kingston is similar attributes to what Sheldon Benjamin was, but Sheldon Benjamin just did it at a whole different level. And like I said, if Sheldon Benjamin was to come back to WWE, I'd definitely see him going for the title or even becoming champion.
Yeah, where's Sheldon Benjamin? Is he in ROH or where?
He's in ROH now. He's still with Charlie Haas. They've been tag team champions a couple of times. Even watching him there, his wrestling in ROH is amazing. Like, his wrestling matches in ROH are better matches than he put out in WWE. You know, he's progressively improved, and I just think it's a shame that the WWE doesn't even, you know, consider him as someone that they want to bring back.
Okay, that's all the time I have. You want to say goodbye real quick?
Yeah, I want to just thank you for having me on your show, man.
Thank you very much. Now, you want to tell everybody your YouTube name real quick before I let you guys go?
Yeah, you can just check out my YouTube page. It's Not PG Entertainment. You know, Team Rara will put a link in the description box. Yep. And yeah, go check it out.
Yeah, you have a good one, and I talk to you later. And this is episode 9 of Top Rope. From your friend, Team Rai. Goodbye, everyone, and have a great one, everyone. WrestleMania, this is going to be awesome. Later.